10, 9.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Get ready for two guys who can't handle the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
But we can. Dave Palumbo, Chris Aceto. RxMuscle.com presents Heavy Muscle Radio.
Welcome to another episode of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined, as always, by the technician, Chris Aceto, on this May 25th, 2020 evening. And Chris, where the heck are you now? Don't you know we're in quarantine?
I'm at my Airbnb downtown.
What are you doing there?
Well, I got kicked out of. We're staying at an Airbnb like a mile up the street, and there's no place to do this show because everyone's asleep.
Right.
So I said, why don't you go downtown?
And you said because you have a lot of vacancies, obviously.
100% vacancy rate.
Oh, so you got your own room basically. You're in your own apartment there.
An apartment. It's out looking over the square, and it looks like a little New York City. And it's empty, and there's not a soul. I went for a walk today, Dave. I went for a long 2-hour walk.
Mm-hmm.
I saw 40 people downtown.
Yeah. Well, that's people are still, concerned. I'm not really going out aside from this, essential supermarket type stuff like that. 7-Eleven, gas stuff.
But you don't go out even if there was no coronavirus.
Yeah, we go. Yeah, but you know what? We usually take the kids out on the weekend. We go to the supermarket. We'll go to we'll take them to the playground. So we're not going anywhere. So we're doing everything at home. So I'm sure a lot of people are probably following that same kind of procedural protocol, whatever. But if I was bodybuilding and I was single, I would be out all day.
Double splits. You'd like it because you get somebody who gave you the key to the gym.
Yeah.
In each morning, and McDonald's was still open, so you go there.
Yeah, I'd make it work. Crazy. Well, it looks like at least in Florida now the gyms are open. I interviewed some woman. This girl Patty Cummings, who owned a gym, and she's suing the governor, DeSantis, of the state. You can watch that interview on RxMuscle's YouTube channel. And she's like, even though they opened the gym, I'm going to continue suing because in Florida, it's a right to work state. It's a different protocol. And because of that, you can't just close businesses, like that, except like if there was a hurricane. So the law says you have to compensate the business owners. So she's suing them. What do you think of that?
She could have been compensated by did she apply for the PPP program?
I don't know if she qualified or not for that.
Well,
what if you just opened your gym and you haven't been in business more than 3 months? It's all predicated on the previous year's income, so you can't collect if you haven't been open for more than 6 months.
That's a good point.
So there's a lot of loopholes. There's a lot of loopholes.
It's not predicated on previous year's income. You just have to be in business. But you would have to. I think sole proprietorships. No, sole proprietorships. I think it was independent contractors who got slammed on it.
Independents, don't really they're not employees,
So, what do I think of it? It's it's a hard topic to figure out because, as we've said on previous shows, it's impossible to continue to go on the way we're going on solely due to the fact that we'll go back to the Stone Age. Like if we had shut down like another 8 weeks, we'd be at 50% unemployment.
Yeah.
So, if we're at 50% unemployment, that's fine. The government would just have to send out fake printed money and reimburse you for all your lost wages or business.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I'm glad that they're starting to open stuff up again. So at least it seems like we might have a second half of a bodybuilding season this year too. Our good friend Derek, who sends you all those gifts that I never send to you, he sent me a link. I'm going to share it here. Hold on a second. It's
send me the book.
I didn't send you the book, but he sent you this. He sent us this link. He said Manhattan Beach, there's some good real estate you might want to pick up. He said under 1.5 or around 1.5 have some good sales. So I'm pulling it up here for you to look at.
Oh yeah, he goes on Instagram Live and he loves
Yeah.
about Manhattan.
What do you think of this little beach place?
It's probably like $800 a square foot.
It's 1.5 million they're asking or something like that, a little over that. I like the bunk beds. I was like, oh, these are cool. Might get these for Logan.
Yeah, but it's not on the beach.
No, it's not, and on the beach would probably be ridiculously priced. The funny thing is, it's really small too. But I guess in California, you don't look at this like your backyard. I think this one has a pool too. Yeah, it's got a pool, but they jam it all into a very small area.
Yeah, I'll pass.
You don't want to get involved with California real estate, huh? California real estate seems like it's more expensive than New York these days, huh?
Well, it's wildly expensive.
Yeah. Your audio. We're going to take a lot of shit from your audio. It doesn't sound that good, but make sure you talk towards the phone.
It's probably $800 a square foot.
I would imagine so. It's let's see if they say in there. The whole place is only 1,091 square feet. How funny is that?
So it's 800. No, it's $1,500 a square foot.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. Major price reduction too. It says.
You can't even go see it probably because of the coronavirus. You got to go on video.
Yeah, I like that. I like you can watch all the tours. You must go crazy. You must be watching tours all day long if I know you. Those video tours.
Look at real estate nonstop.
Well, as I say every week, I can't believe I have to report more deaths, but MIKAYLA Kingdom, you know who she is? MIKAYLA Kingman?
I do not.
Okay, she passed. She won the Jay Cutler overall figure championship. I'll put her up. Hold on. Very sad. It's sad that we're losing all these people. I don't even know what's going on in this world, to be honest with you. I can't figure it out, Chris. This girl. She passed I think right after we did the show. So I wanted to just get her in there.
Oh, okay.
Oof. Sneezing. I got my cat hanging around. What's going on? I just don't know. I don't know if it's the environment that we're in now, or if it's just bad luck. I mean, this. When you see a 350-pound bodybuilder pass, you can make an excuse. Oh, steroids. Oh, he didn't take care of his health. I mean, this girl, look at she's in great shape. Then we just got a report today. I don't know if you heard this one. That I can't even say it, but I don't know if you follow the wheelchair bodybuilding. You know who Josh Foster is? He was in the Olympia. He was in the Arnold. No, terrible. He also died today. They found him dead in his house. No one knows what happened or anything like that. So I'm assuming there's going to be an autopsy. Let me see if I can pull his picture up here. Nick Scott. I talked to Nick Scott, our good friend who does all the wheelchair bodybuilding stuff. And he actually called me on the phone after I texted him about it. He's like, no one knows. I talked to his family. They came into the room and no one knows what happened to him. Looked really good too. Oh, he died on the 21st. That was on Thursday then. He placed 6th at the Arnold Classic in 17 and 19, and he was 8th place at the Olympia. They had the first year wheelchair Olympia this past season. So a lot of sadness, Chris, in our industry. People are dropping like flies. No comments? You're very silent over there.
Good sometimes, Dave. You've mentioned, like, I don't mean that in a mean way, that you cared about keeping a list. If you were keeping a list, like the numbers, in the last 5 years it'd be up there.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's crazy.
I mean,
You're very, very
What can you say
pensive
about
today.
that?
I'm not hearing you. Maybe your connection is not good. You hearing
Can
me,
you hear me
Aaron,
now?
Chris?
Like the TV show? Like the radio show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
There's some static.
Yeah, it's not your connection is not good over there, and wherever you're vacationing. All right. Well, I want to just announce a couple things here.
Right.
You know, we talked about Vic Richards last week on the TV show, and I think we lost Chris there. Vic Richards contacted me after we. I thought he was going to say, "Oh, Dave, thanks for mentioning me on the radio show." You know, it was a nice tribute you and Chris gave to me. And he contacted me. He's like, through another person, said, "Oh, I want to get on the TV show." And I said, "Oh, I'd love to get Vic on the TV show." I had him on the radio show years ago. You know, and I had a couple times, and we had some good interviews. So he contacted. I said, "All right, let's do it next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever." And he's like, "All right, let's discuss my payment." I'm like, "Vic, I don't pay anyone for this stuff. You know, it's publicity for you. It's like, you know, whatever you want to promote and what you promote. I don't make any money from doing this. So I don't know if it'll happen or not." That's typical, Vic. Let me get Chris back here. I think we got him back. Chris, how you doing over there? Can you hear me now? Can you see me? I was talking about Vic Richards.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
You got an atrocious connection over there. I don't know what it is, but it's not good. I was saying how Vic Richards contacted me after we talked about him last week on the show. Yeah, you're bad. You're bad, Chris. All right, I'm going to go back to talking. So anyway, I'm going to try to make it happen for this next week, or maybe the week after. We'll get Vic on and get an update on what's going on with him. I've had him on before. Like I said, we've really interviewed him before ad infinitum, and you know, he's a good guest. He's very opinionated. I'd actually like to get him on Iron Debate. Probably be great too. All right, let's see if we can bring Chris back in one more time here. Chris Aceto, the technician. We need you. We need a technician over there to help you out a little bit. What's going on? Can you hear me? I don't see it. I think he's got a bad connection over there. I think that's what it is. Dr. Scott Connolly's 3-part seminar that we did. I think it was. I don't remember when we did it exactly. I think it was like maybe 8 years ago. He did a seminar on calories versus macronutrients and nutrient partitioning. And he basically, you know, laid out why the calorie hypothesis of weight loss and weight gain is preposterous and ridiculous. And I know that all the crazy people out there and all these gurus and Lane Norton, and I'll get Lane Norton. If you want to come on the show, we'll debate. But I mean, I think Connolly lays out a brilliant, you know, explanation as to why the calorie hypothesis is ludicrous, especially in light of what we know in today's world. Now, is there some merit to the fact that you can't overeat? Yeah, calories are important, but it's the composition of the calories that's more important, and that's the key. So if you look at, you know, if you go and check out this interview, and we have like the 3 parts on RxMuscle.com, Connolly systematically lays it out, showing the research and everything. Let me see if I can get Chris back in there too. You back there, Chris? How's the connection?
How's that, Dave?
Better, but you still have to turn your camera sideways so we can get the full view of Chris's seat up. Right. I was just talking about Scott Connolly. You know, he's
more important than Scott Connolly. Scott Connolly looks like Bruce Jenner there.
He does. This was a seminar Scott did about 8 years ago, and it was on, you know, why high protein diets, and basically the theory, or the science of nutrient partitioning is way more important in determining success in dieting than, say, the calorie, you know, people, or the calorie hypothesis. And I think it's a brilliant, you know, seminar. I think it's funny. You know, Connolly can be, sometimes he can be a little, you know, very, I always say university-like, you know, almost too professor-like, but this was really good. He had a lot of good humor in here. He had graphs and some animations. And So I think it's going to be something that people probably haven't seen. And if you have, rewatch it, because I rewatched it and learned a lot from it. Can you hear, Chris? Are you there? I can't hear you. Your reception is not good.
You hear me?
You're terrible. You sound terrible. I hate to say it. You're staticky and it's just not good. I think your connection is just weak over there. And I think that's what it is. So we'll hopefully maybe Chris can rectify it. I don't know. Maybe if not, I'm gonna have to do this alone. But it wouldn't be the first time I talked for an hour alone. The bodybuilding, where a lot of people have been asking me about, what to do and how to deal with the lack of gym. And luckily for the people in Florida and a couple states now, the gyms are opening up. People can go back, and people complaining about the fact that they can only go. You have to make an appointment to go to the gym. Who cares? I'd rather go to a gym in a safer environment where there's not a million people at one time, and you can sanitize the equipment and do whatever you got to do and train. I mean, that's what it's about. So be glad, show gratitude for the fact that you have the ability to go to the gym. A lot of people don't. I have clients in Panama. I have clients in Canada, and Canada really, I think they can still work out. In the UK, they say they're not opening the gyms till like possibly August or September. I don't know. So we're lucky over here. I think even in the most stringent states, eventually, probably by next month in June, we're going to see them open up. So I don't know what people are whining and complaining about. Go back to the gym, set your sights on doing a show, get refocused. That's what I recommend. Don't just call the season a disaster and that's it. Unless you didn't do anything the last, 8-10 weeks. If you didn't do anything and you're all behind, you have to play catch up, then that's a different story. But I have a lot of clients that had to do push-ups and bands and all kinds of crazy stuff like that. And quite frankly, they had to make do with what they had. And you know what? They came out of it pretty damn good. They look good. They're not fat. They didn't lose much muscle. Yeah, granted, they didn't really gain anything, okay, but they didn't lose. So now that they're going back to the gym, their bodies are super responding because it's like, all right, I'm well rested. My injuries are kind of, healed up, and now I can go back to the gym. All right, let's try Chris one more time here. Chris, how you doing over there? You solve any problems?
I don't know.
No, you sound pretty good right now. So maybe if you can just stay right where you are, don't move.
Why don't you let me talk and then we can...
Go ahead. Say something. I was talking about people complaining about the fact that the gyms, they have to make appointments to go to the gym now, but I'm saying they're lucky that the gyms are open because I know a lot of guys in the UK can't even work out.
Would you go to a public gym?
If I didn't have 3 kids, yeah, I'd go to the gym. I would go. And I like the fact that they're making it by appointment. A lot of times I think they can only have like 25 or 30 people at a time in there. So they're making people sign up for like hour blocks, and people are like, oh, I need more than an hour. I'm like, you can't train in an hour. Then you don't know what the freak you're doing,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's I guess, would you go to a gym, more importantly, if you didn't have 3 kids, would you go to a gym?
Would I go? Yeah. No, you wouldn't. Why not? If you were if you were bodybuilding and you were going to compete and stuff like that, sure you would.
Yeah.
Sure you would. Think about your mentality when you were like 25, Chris.
Probably 65% of the people or 80% of the people listening to the show don't compete.
Yeah, but they treat bodybuilding like they compete, though. You know what I mean? To them, it's their own competition. But if I was a competitive bodybuilder, I certainly would go, and because it was important to me. That was the most important thing in my life at that time. I hate to say it, it doesn't really. It seems a little superficial, but that's what we were doing. We wanted to be the best we could be at that. So it was very important.
I don't think it's superficial, really. I mean, you're young and you got to have something that's number one thing in your life.
Right. So you're not going to not go to the gym if that's the most important thing in your life, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. No, I mean, you got a point. I just wonder, like, how many people are going to go back to gyms to go even at restaurants at least the next 4 weeks, let's say.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. Would you go to a restaurant?
Probably not.
Would you take out food?
No.
No, really? You haven't like ordered a pizza or anything like that?
I'd be afraid somebody's sneezing on.
Well, the pizza.
I'm in the same boat. I could say I have kids, right?
Well, we ordered pizza because I had a discussion, debate with my wife. I said, the pizza is heated up to such a hot heat, and we actually temp gunned it when it came, and it was still blasting hot. Now, granted, the outside of the box theoretically could be contaminated. She doesn't. She opens the box, washes her hands, and that we don't touch the box anymore. So I don't know. I think that the food is fine. I think it's you're not going to get contaminated food. I don't know if I would go sit in a restaurant scenario where I'm constantly exposed, but I think takeout food is kind of safe, especially if it's warm food.
If you had to guess, where do you think the total number of deaths peaks? At what number?
I don't even know. Because I don't trust the statistics, because I think that they're attributing everything to COVID. Anyone who dies in the hospital, it's COVID. They don't. You could be dying of a fucking pimple on your ass, as my dad would say. That's my father's favorite expression. One of his favorites.
Where did you get that info from?
But
I mean,
it's a fact. It's a fact that they have doctors that have come on, and they say that the hospitals are getting rewarded with more funding if they say that they had a death that was caused by COVID as opposed to, say, cancer or heart disease. So the COVID diagnosis is being put on everything, on these people's death certificates, even if it didn't cause their death. So it's, they're pumping up the statistics. So you can't trust how many people have really died. Now, are people dying? Are people getting sick? Absolutely. I know people that have. It's not something I'd want to get. And because we don't even know what you can recover from this, but what is the long-term ramifications of it,
It up. The doctors?
Hmm?
Who's pumping up the number? The doctors?
Yeah, because they're being told by the hospital administration, hey, if this person tests positive, I don't care if it caused their death or not. You put that on the death certificate, or they get fired. And a couple doctors didn't like that, and that's when they've been going online and they've been complaining about that. They've been saying this is bullshit. These we're being told to do this because the hospital's getting more funding from the government because of this, and it's just not right. The statistics are just not correct. And you can see there's a bunch of doctors out there that are kind of.
Is the government paying people? What do you mean funding? The government's paying.
The government gives the hospital a certain amount of money per patient, I guess. And if you have more COVID patients, they give more money to the hospitals. I don't know why. I don't understand the whole concept of that. Your reception is completely deteriorating. I don't know. There's a lot of static. I can't hear you. You're gonna have to sign back in. I don't want to. I don't want to be rude to Chris, but I know you guys are going to complain about the static and stuff like that. It's just it's annoying. It's annoying me a little bit. So I don't know what's going on over there. I know he's just in a bad area. I think we should just. I don't know what we should do with this. Let me see if we can sign back in. Yes, I mean I don't want to get I don't want to politicize all this, but obviously the statistics are pumped up. But the virus is very real, and that's why you have to take the precautions. I know people they want to rip your masks off, and you want to be rebels and say I don't need to wear a mask. But you know what? It's not worth getting the virus, because right now we don't have any way to really combat it other than using azithromycin and using the zinc and the hydrochloroquine. But who wants to get it? Because we don't know what the long-term ramifications. Will it do permanent damage to your body? So you might get over the virus, but maybe you'll have reduced lung capacity or kidney capacity or heart. We don't know. We're finding out things every day. So it's just not worth getting the virus to begin with. So I'm not saying stay home unless you're a high risk, or you're immunocompromised in one of those categories, elderly. But if you go out, wear a mask. It's a big deal. I do it. I wear it to the supermarket. Now, at the gym, it might be a little more difficult. But if you go into a gym where they're spacing people out and they're only letting so many people in, you're probably okay. I'd probably wear gloves. I don't know because they say the transmission is most prevalent from your hands touching something with it on it, and then you wiping your face. And whatever you do, don't rub your eyes, don't rub your nose. Even if you have an itch, just don't do it in the gym. Wait till you wash your hands and get the hell out of there, and then you do it. Because that's the easy. People don't realize rubbing eyes and putting your fingers in your nose, and it's like you're inoculating yourself with the stuff. So you don't want to do that. And that's obviously a no-no in the world of microbiology. It's like you're literally taking this. If you've ever seen a microbiology lab, the way they grow bacteria is they take this it's like a spatula, it's like a little like metal long thing, and they kind of scrape wherever the bacteria is, and they poke it into this like gel. They call it like an agar gel. They grow it, or the bacteria, I should say the bacterial media. It's in a little like petri dish, and then they grow it in there. So they basically inoculate it in this. They give it one jab, and then the bacteria just grows in there, and then they can kind of look at it and study it under the microscope. By you sticking your finger up your nose, rubbing your eye, you're actually doing the same thing. You're taking the bacteria and you're inoculating yourself with it, so that now the bacteria will start to grow on you. You're basically the media that the bacteria grows on. So you don't want to do that. That's my point. All right, so we talked about the loss of Josh Foster. Obviously, I really want to go a little more in depth in them because he was a really good wheelchair bodybuilder, and it's sad. I think a lot of bodybuilders are seeing a lot of people passing from Luke Sando to MIKAYLA, KINGMAN, to now Josh Foster, and this is just in the last two weeks. That it's shocking, and it's hard to deal with. It's hard to conceptualize, and but it's happening, and I have to imagine that this is not just happening in our little microcosm of bodybuilding, but that it's happening throughout the world. So, in other words, in other parts of society, whether it be the people who are the gamers or the people who are the professional eaters or whatever other category there is out there, I think in those communities they're losing people too, because I think people are depressed, and there's suicides, and there's just stuff going on, people getting COVID and dying from it. So it's a little bit of a depressing thing. So you have to kind of find things that are going to lift your spirit and make you feel good about yourself. And that's why I like the fact that the gyms are opening again, because even though there is this risk of catching this virus, at the same time, it's giving you a reason, to get out of the house. It's giving you the ability to say, hey, you know what? I feel good about myself after I leave the gym. So I think that the positives outweigh the negatives in that situation. That's why I say when you do it, go there, just wear the right precautions. Don't put yourself at risk. If you can't make it to a gym, if your gym's not open, you train at home. Okay. Just because you're doing push-ups and bands and lifting up, water jugs to get your workout in, it's still a workout. You're stimulating the muscle. Okay. If you stimulate the muscle and eat right, and then if you are even taking, gear and stuff like that, you're not going to lose a lot of muscle. Okay. You might lose a little strength. Okay. You might lose a little endurance, or probably not endurance because you're probably doing more reps, but you might lose a little bit of volume in your muscles. But once you go back to that gym, within 2 to 4 weeks, you will have everything back plus some. I guarantee you. You'll see. And you know what? You're going to be stronger after you get back to it, because you're going to be well rested. You're going to be you will have given your joints a rest from the heavy weights that you were probably pushing in the gym. And even though you don't want to do that because you feel like you're losing time, in the long run, it probably benefits you. I wouldn't do it all the time, but if in a situation like this, sometimes you got to find the good in all the bad that it seems to be out there. But it's not, things happen for a reason. Make good use of it. I think I know a lot of my clients use the time productively. They complained a lot, but they did the workouts, they ate the meals, and now that they're going back to the gym, they feel great. They're strong in the gym. They have a new, I guess you could say, zest for going to the gym. They're not bored with it. And that's a huge thing. That's a huge thing. And I think they're going to make really good progress. All right, we got Chris one more time. We're going to try to get him back here again. All right, Chris, where are you now?
We're doomed.
Oh, you're worse
We're
now.
doomed.
You sound like
I'm
you're
in my car.
you're in a tin can, literally. It sounds like.
I am in my tin can. I'm in my car.
All right, I'm going to give you up the rest of the night. Go home.
Later.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. It's terrible. People are going to complain. All right, Chris is upset. But you know what am I going to do? I can't subject you guys to this. Sorry. I'll just pontificate for the next, what is it, 30 minutes? Oh, I got to kill 30 minutes. Oh, my God. All right, I better take a drink here. Have you guys seen, I'm sure you have by now. If you haven't, let me pull them up. Hunter Labrada, looking super, super freaky. I love these pictures of him. Let me pull him up. I'm going to pull his Instagram up. What a great, he's going to be doing the Tampa Pro. It's in like 7 or maybe 10 weeks. Look at those shots. Look how freaky he looks. It's great. He suffered with a lot of injuries, A lot of people don't realize this, and he's over the injuries, obviously. He waited until he was going to be as good as he can. Look, you can even see Dexter Jackson saying, "Looking good, my brother." Dexter doesn't give compliments to anyone unless you deserve them. So Hunter's looking really good there. Look at that, very thick. Dare I say Dorian-esque. And he even mentions in his post that he was, training on his posing with his dad, Lee, who was a bodybuilding Hall of Famer. And it's funny because Lee was so small. He was like Lee probably weighed 185 pounds at his biggest, and Hunter is huge, And he's tall, unlike Lee. Look at these shots. Let's pull a few more of these up here. Look at that. 10 weeks out, 264 pounds. Wow, post-training. Look, he probably only needs to lose another maybe 8 pounds or so. Maybe, let's realistically, you don't want to go too crazy. Look at that shot. Speaking of Dorian, there's a Dorian shot right there. It's pretty impressive. He's training hardcore. I really, really, hope he does well. I hope he stays healthy. Arms look great, Got a small waist, big legs, good calves. Blind keeper would like that. That was at 13 weeks out. Let's see what this one is. There's let's look at this. Let's watch him training legs. It's a lot of weight on there. He's moving. So, yeah, look, I think he's going to do well. I think he's going to shock a lot of people. I wouldn't be surprised if he won the show. Looking like that. It's possible. Lee is obviously in his corner, helping with his presentation. He has the muscle now. His conditioning looks like it's coming in perfectly. As long as he doesn't over-diet and come in too flat, because that volume looks good on his body. He could look a little small if he's not going to have enough volume. But I don't know if he'll win, but he definitely is a top 5 guy with conditioning polish. His dad beat guys double the size because he just knew how to outperform them, out-professionalize them. And that's the key. And I've said this before. You only have control of the 3 things really on stage. You have control of your conditioning, your presentation, and your tan. And if you screw up any of those 3 things, you're an idiot, because these are things that you have completely at your control. Your structure, how much muscle you have, okay? Those things, first of all, your structure is what you're born with, and how much muscle you have is how much work you put in the off season. So you can't really control that. That's nothing you can control at this point. What you can control is what you bring to that stage and how you present it and how you look. So I think he's got good people advising him, especially his dad. And I think he's going to bring a really polished look, and we're going to see a really, really a new era. And he's going to be one of the future guys for sure. He's still in his 20s. In 5 years, he's going to be amazing. Assuming he doesn't get hurt or he doesn't lose interest or, something doesn't happen. he could be one of the future guys up on that Olympia stage competing, which would be great. I mean, it's really the next generation between him and Sergio Oliva Jr. and who knows who's the next one to get up there. Hopefully, it's not my son. That's a long ways off. Anyway, I don't want my son being a bodybuilder, but you never know, right? He's got to do what he wants to do. So Lee is looking great, and Hutch is looking phenomenal. And I'm excited to see him up on that stage again. Now, since Chris is kind of like, I lost Chris here because Chris is on vacation. He wasn't going to do the show. I was going to give him off, and then he really loves doing the show. And I wanted to, we thought we could make it happen. But I don't want to annoy people with the bad audio. I know you're going to complain about the beginning of the show anyway. So now I did an interview with Anthony Pasquale. I don't know if you guys remember him. He should have won the USA a bunch of years ago, the year that Max Charles won. He dropped out like a couple days before the show and quit bodybuilding. I get him on my TV show every once in a while. We did a show where he actually interviewed me. It's live with Dave Palumbo. And so we're going to be airing that, I think, next week. You guys should enjoy that. We're going to try to do more of these, I think, because I think a lot of times I have a lot to say, but no one's asking me questions aside from Ask Dave. But those are questions that are being basically sent in by the fans. This was Anthony, coming up with questions that he feels that people would want to know the answers to, and there's some good questions in there. So we're going to do it every couple of weeks and see if it catches on. And I can talk about all the crazy stuff that happened to me over the years. Got a lot of good. When you're old, you got a lot of good stories. The older you get, the more stories you have. And a lot of times I've told stories like this before, but people haven't heard them because we have so many new people coming into the sport on a regular basis. Now, I think that once the shows start to get started again, I think people will get reinvigorated. At this point, a lot has been canceled. The people don't have money. It's amazing though. I will say this, and I don't know if anyone's even interested. I breed snakes, as you guys know. I breed ball pythons and boa constrictors and carpet pythons. And I'll say this: the sales of the snakes have been through the roof lately. At first I couldn't figure out why. I'm like, no one's working. Okay, supposedly people don't have money, but what's happening is everyone got their little stimulus check and they're like, well, I'm bored. I don't know what to do. I got to spend it on something. So they're buying snakes, And luckily I have a little YouTube channel. If you guys want to subscribe to it, it's called Muscle Serpents University. And I show off my snakes. I interview people occasionally, and I'll talk about the science of snake breeding as I'm learning it. I've been doing this for about 6 years now, so I'm almost an expert. I always say, I think experts say that it takes 10 years to become a master in anything you apply yourself to. So I got 4 more years and I can call myself a super expert or a master. But I've been doing this, probably been breeding for 5 years now, so straight. So I have I know a couple tricks here and there. But that's been getting me through these difficult times too, because it's great to spend time with your family, and I love spending time with my 3 kids and my wife. We go to the pool and we eat and we have fun during the day. I probably spend more time with them now than I did before the quarantine. But I like the fact that I can go over to the snake building, and I can go clean some snakes and check out the pythons that laid the eggs and the boas that gave birth to litters. And while that may not interest you guys, it enables me to escape into another world where I'm it's a creative process for me. And I've said this before to you guys too. That's why it's important that you have something other than bodybuilding. If you have nothing except bodybuilding, a quarantine like this can certainly be very depressing for you, because, you got nothing else to look forward to. You're just like pontificating and just, completely fixated on the fact that you can't go to the gym and train the way you want. And that could be depressing. So find something else that you like to do, whether it be sit home and watch movies, or sit home and play video games, or start your own nutrition company, or work on your social media page. Embrace that, immerse yourself in that, and become great at that. And that's something that will give you something else to look forward to. So if you know what, if you pull a hamstring and you can't go to the gym that day. All right, you know what? I'm just going to go work on my website, or I'm just going to go work on my Instagram or my YouTube channel where I get on there. And a lot of times the YouTube channel is a great start because you can just go on there and bitch complain. So if you know what, I had a terrible day at the gym or I hurt myself, vent. I do that. When things go wrong, I vent to you guys. I vent about what's annoying me, stupid people who worked in my house, workers that don't do a good job. And then once I talk about it, I feel better. It relieves it. And you guys actually might find it humorous, and you might find it annoying, but it doesn't matter. I find a way to get it out. So once again, always, even though bodybuilding should, and if this is something that you want to do for a profession, it should be your most important thing you do in life, and you shouldn't miss meals, and you should try to get to as many workouts in as you can. You don't want to make that the only thing you got going on in your life, because it can become very depressing. And believe me, when I got injured when I was a bodybuilder, it was massively depressing for me. And I had other things going on. I was breeding Persian cats, and I was collecting cars. I got into cars at one point when I started making a little bit of money. So I always had something to, but bodybuilding was my main gig. And so for me to get hurt and not be able to train the way I wanted to, I couldn't train my legs maybe for 2 weeks the way I wanted to because I had pulled a hamstring or pulled a quad or whatever the case may be. My shoulder was hurting me, and I had a crappy, shoulder workout. That got me down. But at the end of the day, you take a couple of days off, you focus on something else, and things improve. Injuries heal. You get better. You're in a different mood. You ever notice you could be depressed for like 2-3 days and just get through those 2-3 days. And then you can wake up one day, get a good night's sleep, and you're like, oh man, I don't know what happened. I feel great again. That's life. You have good days, you have bad days. And you have to deal with that. Now, but the truth is that if you find things that spin your wheels, that get you going, that make you feel enthusiastic about life, nothing can get you down, because you always have something else to point to. And you have to also understand that if you have going to be bad days and things that go wrong, and that just go to sleep and don't worry about it. Wake up the next day, you start over. It's like a clean slate. If you end your life, okay, or you do something stupid, okay, destructive, okay, that's not going away, okay? But the way you feel, which is a temporary thing, okay, it's really environmental. So we're almost like robots that just respond to our environmental stimuli. So you can feel bad, and it's not even your own fault. It's the environment and the way you're interacting with it. It's just a temporary thing. It will change. Go to sleep. Take a nap. I sometimes take a nap. I get up. I'm completely reinvigorated. I feel great again. Just do something different to change your environment, okay? And I guarantee you will feel better. And that's important, especially now that we can do our own businesses online with the advent of YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and all the great things you can do yourself. You never have to leave the house, really. I mean, you talk about quarantine. Quarantine 15 years ago would have been fucking brutal. Nowadays, with cell phones and social media and the ability to Amazon delivering to your house, I mean, you don't even need to leave the house if you don't really want to. So it is what it is, If you're worried about this happening again, build a gym in your house. Build a little garage or basement gym for yourself with the basics. Once everything opens up again, things will get cheap again, and there'll be a lot of availability of equipment for people who bought the equipment because of the quarantine, and then they want to just get rid of it because it's cluttering up the house stupidly, by the way. Grab it up. If it's cheap, buy it. Build yourself a little home gym. It doesn't have to look like Flex Lewis's gym. Who cares? You can fucking have paneling on the wall like Louis had in the pumping iron. Doesn't matter. Make a gym for yourself so that you feel like if something goes wrong and you can't go out for a week or two because of some kind of quarantine or hurricane or whatever, you have your equipment in your house. Because if that's something that makes you feel good about yourself working out, then you should have the equipment there, even if you never use it. People made fun of me there, but after a hurricane here, we lost electricity for 3 days. It was brutal because it was hot here, and I have kids. My son was born at the time, and we didn't know what to do. I said, I'm buying generators for both buildings, for my work building, so I can keep my internet working, and we can work in an air-conditioned environment. And I'm getting it for my house. I mean, I spent a lot of money on these whole building generators. And people are like, you're crazy. We may never get another hurricane. I'm like, you know what? If we never get another hurricane because of the fact that I bought these generators, that deterrent alone is worth it. Who cares, you know? But if we do, I'm covered. And I know we've lost electricity for a couple hours here since I bought those generators. Nothing crazy. We haven't had a hurricane, but it was nice that my generators just kicked on. It was like a 3-second lag, and then everything was working still. So I set up in your brain and in your everyday life an ability to do the things that you love all the time. And if the gym is one of them, then you got to have a contingency plan. If you can't get to your gym, you got to have equipment, that at least enables you to do something. They have these dumbbells now where it's like, well, they've had them for a while. You can get like up to like 120 or 130 pounds, they're like one unit. You kind of selectorize how much weight you want. Yeah, they don't look that great. They're a little awkward, but they fucking get the job done. That's all you need. You can do everything with dumbbells. Literally everything. It's true. So don't stupidly, I should say, be ignorant of the fact that this can't happen again. In 6 months, we can have another outbreak of this COVID, and they could quarantine everyone again, and you go through it again. At least if you have built up a little reserve of some equipment in your house, it won't be so bad the next time it happens. That's important. Like I said, thank God we have places like Amazon.com and Walmart that will deliver, and you can pretty much buy everything you need except paper towels and toilet paper, of course, but thank God for it. All right, I'm back. I think I cut out a little bit this time, and I don't even know how long I lost here. This is a very unconventional heavy muscle radio show that we did this week. It might be the first time I had to do it alone, even though we started with Chris. And I think it's going to be an annoying one to listen to. But you know what? I'm trying to make it motivational because in these trying times, we're losing a lot of people in our industry. We have a lot of depressed people. You got to find motivation for things. That's important, very important. And you got to find ways that you can make income, okay? We don't have to rely on someone else. Even if you have a good job, even if that's something you love doing, create a side business. What's the big deal? Sell anything. I started selling other people's products that I believed in. Because Bill Phillips used to do that. I don't know if you guys remember, did EAS, he was selling like dimetadrine from AST Research. He was selling Jarrow, N-acetylcysteine. How do I know that? I was using this stuff. So the whole catalog of products that he sold through the Muscle Media 2000 magazine. And it was because he believed in the products. And then he started his own product line. I still sell other people's products on my DavePalumbo.com website. Kidney stuff, which is a great kidney detoxifier. I can make my own, but I believe in this product. It works. I see it. People send me their blood work before. I get them on kidney stuff, and then afterwards their creatinine drops. It takes so I've solved a lot of people's problems with that. Same thing with the liver stable product that Bill Llewellyn makes. I sell that on DavePalumbo.com as well because it works. I see people's liver function. You can do that. I have clients who sell my Species Nutrition products to their clients. They buy it at wholesale from me in case quantities, and they sell it to them. They retail it to their clients, and they make money. They probably make more money than I did per item because they have no overhead. They're just selling it, and they believe in the products. They're like, well, I'm using these. Might as well make some money. I said, exactly. So you sometimes have to invest a little money to make some money. And that's things that you guys have to come up with, what you would like to sell. I know guys that are a really good golfer. And, you know, you wouldn't think that he could make money playing golf, but all the golfers want to get a better swing. So he trained these guys. It's not even he doesn't even have training. These guys got money, and they're like, look, can you take us to the gym once and show us how to do it, or write us a diet? He's making a fortune off writing diets for golfers. But these guys don't know what to do. He does. And a bodybuilder, so he's got that crossover effect. He found a niche for himself. That's what you guys got to do. You got to find a niche for yourself. Now, I want to talk about the Olympia before I wrap up this whole fiasco. Obviously, I don't think we're going to see Kai Green on the stage. A lot of people have been asking me, do you think he'll do it? He's teasing us, and Dan Solomon's not too happy about the fact that he's teasing. I think he's teasing. I don't think he's going to do it. I think we're going to see a really good Flex Lewis on stage, who's going to be super dangerous. I don't know if Hadi Chupin is going to be able to get here. I hope he does. I think he'll be very dangerous. Obviously, Brandon Curry's the range. I would love to see Sean Roden on that stage. I don't know if we're going to be able to see him. I don't even know if his case will be handled. With all the delays, I heard it was supposed to be taking place in June, which is next month. But it could get postponed again. In which case, should he be allowed to compete? I mean, how many years are you going to let this guy sit out? You know, I understand the first time in that first year, the charges came down, acted emotionally. But, you know, it's not his fault that the trial's delayed. I say if it's delayed till after the Olympia, let him do the Olympia. If it happens before, then we'll have a decision. To be on the Olympia stage. So let's assume that he gets cleared. We could see Sean Roden, because we know he wants to compete, okay? Whereas Kai doesn't want to compete. He just wants to tease us. You've got Roden on that stage. You're going to have Flex Lewis. I don't think we're going to see Phil Heath either. I'd love to see Phil Heath on the stage. I think he's nuts for not doing it, but maybe it's not important to him anymore. I know. I hit a point in my bodybuilding. I could have done it. I could have done it a few more years. I still looked good. I was big. I didn't want to do it. I lost the urge to compete. Now he's Mr. Olympia going for a record, but you know, if he doesn't have that will to do it. So I think if we get a healthy Ruli Winkler back in there now that he had all this extra time to kind of heal up, super dangerous, of course. Big Ramy, he's always an X factor. He can always be the guy who shows up and wins the show if he brings the goods, so to speak. So there's going to be a lot of excitement on that Olympia stage, and that's going to be before Christmas, in December, in Planet Hollywood. That's something exciting that we can look forward to in the industry. You know, I'm glad they moved it to the end of the year. Hopefully all this nonsense will be away by then. No pun intended, of course. Disinfected away. We may have another outbreak right after the Olympia when we get to winter, because that's when they say that's usually when these viruses come back. I think that Olympia in first. And hopefully people will be able to qualify for the Olympia via these pro shows that are going to be coming up. Tampa, I think, is going to be the first show of the year, really. So for the guys that have been busting it and keep delaying, we're going to see a lot of people in Tampa. If Tampa happens, which I think it will, we're going to see that lineup stacked to the hilt. Because I know personally I'm helping a bunch of guys that have had to play or the pro shows for the year, because they've canceled so many that between New York Pro and Indy and Pittsburgh and all these shows that were pushed back and canceled. Tampa's it. Tim Gardner's going to be make out like a bandit. I don't know if they'll have anyone in the audience, but there's going to be a lot of guys in that stage, and that's obviously Wings of Strength. Jake Wood sponsors that show. It's going to be I think that will be a defining show. People will be super excited. I don't know because I haven't talked to them, but they should live stream the show. I really believe they should, because I think there's a lot of people that will be afraid to go. Just can't go anyway. And that would be a good way to get morale going in our industry again, to have that Tampa Pro live stream. We could all watch it from our home, get excited about it, argue and debate about who should have won, who could have won, did win, did he deserve it, did he not deserve it, did she deserve it, did she not deserve it. I think that's good for the bodybuilding industry to get the mojo going again, okay, and get people enthused about it. So ticket sales, the live stream is, people are going to go. People who are going to watch it at home are going to watch it at home. They're never the twain show. They're not going to cannibalize each other. Live stream it. It will be good for the industry. It'll get everybody excited about this thing that we all love that has been put on hold. Look, just because I don't compete anymore doesn't mean I don't miss talking about all the shows and the competitors and stuff like that all day long. That's why I've been doing a lot of the old timers, because I'm an old timer, because they have interesting stories. And it's good when we have nothing to talk about in terms of competition to get people on from past stories, because that, really our industry, the people who are out there, the fans, a lot of them don't really know the history of our sport. And it's sad. And it's because a lot of people coming in as newbies, you got to make your point. So you don't, number one, repeat history. And number two, you can talk logically about, who looks good, who doesn't, what is a classic physique versus a non-classic physique. You got to know the history of it. If you don't, you're kind of like you're a phony, you're a fraud, I always say. Learn your history. If you're into bodybuilding, you should know everything about the sport that you love. You should want to know everything about the sport you love. I mean, when I was into watching baseball, I wanted to know everything about the history of the sport. I never saw Mickey Mantle play or Babe Ruth, but I certainly was excited about who they were and what the records they had, and what I wanted to know everything about them. And that's what you guys need to do as well. So keep watching the show. Make suggestions. We have a lot of people who watch the show who send me suggestions. Hey, interview this guy, interview that guy. A lot of times you guys will contact them for me and get the contact me. That's great. I really appreciate that. And we'll get them on the show. I don't know if you guys saw the Labroni Vince Taylor debate this past week we had about heavy lifting versus light lifting. Tremendous. And it was, as a fan, I was so excited by the answers I was getting and the feedback and the interaction between Vince Taylor and Kevin Labroni. They battled it out in the 94 Arnold, first and second place. Kevin just edged him out. It was great to hear them talking about this stuff. That should excite you. You watch a show like that, you can't wait to get to the gym training. Learn about these guys and how they train. And Vince trained light and Kevin trained hardcore, and never the twain shall meet. So hopefully you guys were inspired. That's the inspiration, and I'm hoping you guys were inspired by whatever transpired here. I'm sorry that Chris couldn't continue, and he had a little blurb in his connection. Hopefully he's having a good time with his family. For now, though, we are out of time. Until next week, remember, with Heavy Muscle Radio, the truth hurts. Good night, everyone.